Sand dunes mean heat. There is an active dune field running 100 kilometers along Lake Athabasca in northern Saskatchewan.
What?
Dunes 30 meters high and 1,500 long.
Oh.
Sand dunes 30 meters high.
How is that even possible?
How is that possible?
Seriously?
Welcome back to another reaction video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for clicking on this video.
Thank you.
I want to tender a serious apology to one of our biggest supporter, the first person who supported us on our Buy Me Coffee
page.
Brian Matthew. I'm sorry, sir. Really sorry. Really sorry. When we did the video thanking our supporters on Buy Me a Coffee, we actually did not mention his name, and he was the first person. And because the screenshot that came from the person managing the page, he had mistakenly omitted his name from it. So we really do apologize. Please accept our apologies.
Sorry.
Really sorry. It was an omission error, and I hope hope that you don't feel discouraged for supporting us. It was not intended. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So today we are reacting to 50 facts about Canada that Americans refuse to believe.
What? Oh my god, this is a very, very good video. I won't lie.
I can't wait to see that. But we don't know much about Canada. We've heard facts about Canada.
Yeah.
But I know we can never know even 1% of the facts. Let's see what these 50 facts are.
Yes.
Quebec maintains a strategic reserve of maple syrup guarded like a petroleum stockpile.
What?
Part of Canada sits farther south than the northern border of California, and there is a region of Canada where gravity is measurably weaker than the rest of the planet.
What?
All three of those are verified. All three are in this video.
Wait, there is a strategic reserve of maple syrup in Quebec that they guard it, like really guard it.
I don't understand.
Like there's a strategic reserve, like a large quantity of maple syrup that they have preserved it somewhere. Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah, and they are really guarding it. And the second one is that another thing they're saying is let's get it again. Oh my god.
All three of those are verified.
Hold
All
on.
three are in this video. Quebec maintains a strategic reserve of maple syrup guarded like a petroleum stockpile. Part of Canada sits farther south than the northern border of California, and there is a region of Canada where gravity is measurably weaker than the rest of the planet.
This is how and which part of Canada is that? I've never heard of this one.
For one, I'm just surprised. Like, really?
I just know that gravity is weaker in the north, but it feels like it's a particular place in Canada.
Yeah, it's a particular place, not like all of north.
Oh my god.
Three of those are verified. All three are in this video. We went through 50 claims about Canada, checked every figure against government records, scientific surveys, and primary sources, and cut the ones that did not hold.
Okay.
What is left is ordered by how wrong it sounds. You know, from the ones you will accept quickly to the ones you will not want to.
Okay.
If you like geography that survives fact-checking, subscribe. Starting with Fact 50. Fact 50. The half-hour time zone. Canada has a time zone offset by 30 minutes instead of a full hour. Newfoundland Standard Time is UTC minus 3:30, the only half-hour offset left anywhere in North America. It exists because the province set its clocks to the solar noon of St. John's, its capital and its most easterly point.
Wow.
National broadcasters still work around it. Programming built to start on the hour starts on the half-hour there. Fact 49. The longest border on Earth. The Canada-United States boundary runs 8,891 kilometers, which makes it the longest international border in the world. It is also not the longest continuous one. Both things are true. It comes in two detached pieces, 6,416 kilometers against the contiguous states, 2,475 against Alaska. Split the record and Kazakhstan takes it. Add it together and nothing on the planet is close.
What?
Fact 48. wider than you think. The continental United States spans 4 time zones. Canada spans 6 across 88 degrees of longitude, more than any country except Russia. From St. John's, Newfoundland to the Yukon border is roughly 5,514 kilometers and 4.5 hours of clock difference.
4.5 hours of clock difference between the east and west coast of Canada.
My goodness.
This country is huge. Canada is huge. What?
Okay.
4.5, not 5, because of that Newfoundland offset. When lunch is finishing on the Atlantic coast, the Yukon has not had breakfast. Fact 47. 36,000 islands. The Canadian Arctic archipelago contains 36,563 islands. Not approximately. That exact figure appears in the CIA World Factbook.
Who
appended
counts
as a note
it?
to Canada's coastline entry because the number is the only way to explain why Canada's coastline measurement looks like a mistake. Ellesmere Island alone is the 10th largest island on Earth. Most people cannot name one of them. Fact 46.
Okay.
A quarter of the world's wetlands. Wetlands suggest the Everglades, the Amazon, the Okavango, warm places. Canada holds 25% of the global total. The government of Canada counts alongside that 20% of the world's fresh water, nearly a quarter of the boreal forest, and habitat for roughly 80,000 species. Cold, flat, badly drained ground is a wetland factory. Water
Damn. 25%. 25%.
Seriously.
Oh God.
25% is too much.
It's
Even
25%
if
of
it's just 10%.
25%, then the rest of the planet. The rest of this 8 billion people, because Canada is just 40 million people. The rest of the 8 billion people, because 40 million is nothing out of 8 billion. You use the rest of the 75%.
God. Canada. Wow.
There are almost 200 countries in the world, and Canada takes 25%.
Seriously?
bedrock
That's crazy.
and permafrost instead of draining away. Fact 45. The province that feeds the world. The fertilizer much of the global food supply depends on does not mostly come from a country. It comes from a province. Saskatchewan produces roughly a third of the world's potash, 35% in 2023 and set a record of 15.1 million tons in 2024. It is
It makes sense that potash, they used to produce fertilizer,
Yeah.
35% of it came from Saskatchewan in 2024.
2024.
Yes. 35%, that's 15.1 million tons, brother. No, you're not my brother. You're my baby.
I'm your brother.
Nah.
Brother.
Oh my God. That means possibly the fertilizer we have used here
Yeah,
possibly some of it comes from Canada. Oh.
It's very, very obvious. It's very possible.
Very possible from Saskatchewan. Shout out to Saskatchewan people. Oh my God.
third of the world's potash, 35% in 2023 and set a record of 15.1 million tons in 2024. It is also the second largest uranium producer on Earth, sitting on ore grading up to 20% uranium, about 100 times the world average. Fact 44. A park the size of a
What is the use of uranium?
To produce nuclear energy or produce nuclear bombs.
And Canada,
Yeah, the
gives out
second highest producer, and their uranium is high grade uranium. The uranium ore is high grade. That means it contains like 20%. The ore has like 20% of uranium. Like, that's crazy.
20%.
Like 100 times the global average. I mean that generally is around 0.02%.
uranium, about 100 times the world average. Fact 44. A park the size of a country. Wood Buffalo National Park is not large by American standards. It is large by European ones. It covers roughly the area of Switzerland, straddling Alberta and the Northwest Territories, and exactly 2 roads enter it, one from each side. It protects the last free-roaming wood bison and the only natural nesting ground of the whooping crane. Most of its interior is known from aircraft and satellites. Fact 43. Deeper than Crater Lake. The deepest lake in North America is not in Oregon. Great Slave Lake in the Northwest Territories bottoms out at 614 meters in Christie Bay. Crater Lake is
614 meters. From here to the road down there is about, say, 300 meters. So if you multiply it by 2, that's how deep the lake is.
No. How is that possible?
630 meters is deep.
What? Who were the people that discover how deep the lake is?
They have measuring equipment to measure it. The thing is,
Without
did you get that
really
deep?
entering inside.
Yeah, you just put like something to measure the depth, right? Maybe a rope or a robot to go down.
Except so.
The question is, what made it to be this deep?
I think that should be the question. That should be our concern.
Yeah, that was the 1867 question.
second at 594. It is deeper than any other glacial lake in North America or Europe. In winter, that same surface becomes a public ice road. Fact 42. A lake larger than Belgium, Great Bear Lake, covers 31,153 square kilometers, larger than Belgium, and the 8th largest lake on Earth. Its shoreline runs 2,719 kilometers, about the distance from Montreal to Miami.
That's crazy,
One village sits on it. It is frozen from November into July, and water entering the lake takes roughly 124 years to leave. Fact 41. An island the size of Spain. Canada owns the 5th largest island in the world. Baffin Island covers 507,451 square kilometers, slightly more than Spain, and 13,039 people live on it.
That measures Spain. That's bigger than our country. Our country is 430,000 square kilometers. A single island is 500 and something thousand square kilometers. Canada is literally making other countries small.
Seriously.
They make other countries look micro.
Really, like nothing.
A single lake is bigger than Belgium.
A country bigger than Belgium.
A lake in a country is bigger than Belgium. Quebec is so many times, they say it's how many, maybe it's bigger than France, or on the order of magnitude bigger than France.
No.
Its spine is a mountain range with peaks above 2,100 meters, cut by fjords and capped with ice. Iqaluit, at the southern tip, holds 7,429 of those residents, more than half the island's population in one town. Fact 40. The statistic that isn't. You have probably heard that 90% of Canadians live within 100 miles of the American border. The CIA says 90% within 160 kilometers. National Geographic has published 75. Statistics Canada, working from its own census, says 66% within 100 kilometers. 4 sources, 4 numbers, 2 different units. That 100-kilometer line runs through Winnipeg and Quebec City, which leaves Calgary, Edmonton, and Saskatoon outside the band the statistic is supposed to describe. Fact 39. IMAX is Canadian. The format Hollywood shoots its largest films in was developed in 1967 by 3 Canadian filmmakers, Graeme Ferguson, Roman Croitor, and Robert Kerr, with engineer William Shaw. It premiered not in Los Angeles, but at Expo 70 in Osaka. By June 2016, there were 1,102 IMAX theaters in 69 countries. The same country built the Canadarm, which flew on Columbia in 1981 and later assembled the space station. Fact 38. Found by accident. The first artificial cardiac pacemaker was not built by a cardiologist. It was built by an engineer studying hypothermia. Around 1950, at the National Research Council of Canada, John Hopps found that a heart stopped by cold could be restarted with electrical pulses. His prototype was bulky and had to be plugged into a wall. It proved the principle. Everything since has been miniaturization.
Wow.
Fact 37. More.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. Like literally.
Not even by a cardiologist or a medical personnel, but by an engineer.
Yeah. I need to take that seriously. I need to take that seriously, y'all.
Wow.
Whoa.
Seals than almost anywhere. A treeless sandbar 300 kilometers out in the Atlantic supports one of the largest gray seal breeding colonies on Earth. Sable Island sits where the Gulf
Where are
Stream...
those bush pigs?
Seals. They are seals. You know what seals are?
No,
They
really?
live in water.
Island sits where the Gulf Stream meets the Labrador Current over some of the richest fishing grounds in the world. The seals draw as many as 12 species of shark. Parks Canada runs a citizen science project purely to count them. Fact 36. The whirlpool with a name. The largest whirlpool in the Western Hemisphere is Canadian,
What?
and it is called Old Sow. It forms in Passamaquoddy Bay, near the mouth of the Bay of Fundy, and it is not permanent. It appears and dissipates on the tide. That is the point. It is a byproduct of roughly 100 billion tons of water being forced past cliffs and headlands twice a day. Fact 35. 2/3 of the polar bears. Polar bears read as generically Arctic, Norwegian, Russian, Greenlandic. About 16,000 of the world's estimated 26,000 live in Canada, and 13 of the 19 recognized subpopulations are managed there. Churchill, Manitoba, runs a holding facility for them, a hangar with 28 cinder block cells. 65 bears were held in it in 2015. Offenders are tranquilized, jailed, then helicoptered 40 miles out of town. Fact 34.
I've heard this thing that there's a bear jail in Canada. I thought it was a joke. They lock them up in a state penitentiary, give them 20 years or 20 years to life in prison.
What did they do?
If they attack people, they're charged with murder. They cannot give them like a lawyer because they will eat their lawyer. So they are
Are you
just
sure what you're
they're
saying?
just found guilty. You are not serious. No, you're not serious, babe.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but I've heard that they have like a jail prison in Canada, especially in Churchill and then Manitoba, which is like places. Churchill is even in Manitoba, right?
The prison is to
Lock them up and maybe,
animals.
yeah, the polar bears.
Okay.
And then after now, they'll be transported by helicopter to put them somewhere in like in a remote area where they will not be able to see humans again.
Oh,
Yeah.
seriously?
Yeah.
My goodness. And they have taken care of them, like feeding them.
Yeah, they feed them just like they feed prisoners. Everybody takes the same.
Ooh. This
Yeah.
is
I've never heard of that, and it's a crazy fact.
Longer than everyone else combined. Canada's coastline measures 202,080 kilometers. Norway, third in the world, has 58,133. The United States has 19,924 as. Canada has more than 10 times that, with a Pacific coast, an Atlantic coast, and an Arctic one. British Columbia's fjords alone account for roughly a tenth of the national total. The measurement itself is contested, and every version of it still wins. Fact 33. A petrostate that does not look like one. Canada
Yes.
is on nobody's mental list of oil giants. It holds either the third or the fourth largest proven reserves on Earth, depending on whose count you use, roughly 10% of the global total. Natural Resources Canada puts it at 171 billion barrels. Only 4.7 billion of that is conventional oil. The rest is bitumen, tar mixed with sand, which has to be mined or steamed out of the ground before it counts as oil at all. Fact 32. An island...
Hold on. This is the one of the most interesting facts. They said that it's a petrol state that does not look like one. That means, you know, of petrol states like Qatar, Dubai, and you have Bahrain, all those countries in the Middle East that get rich out of selling crude oil.
yes.
Canada makes money out of crude oil, but you don't ever know that it's like a
Like
petrol
that.
state. Yeah. A petrol state that does not look like one.
It's Canada.
That's fact.
before it counts as oil at all. Fact 32. An island inside a lake. The largest island in a freshwater lake anywhere on Earth sits in Lake Huron. Manitoulin covers 2,765 square kilometers, an island bigger than Luxembourg, floating inside a lake. And it has its own lakes on it, carved by the same ice that carved the one it sits in. Fact 31. Wild horses that dig for water. Wild horses belong to the American West, except for the 400 living on a sandbar in the North Atlantic. Sable Island is 42 kilometers long and 1.4 wide at its widest. When storm surge poisons the surface ponds with salt, the horses dig into the sand for groundwater. They have evolved broader hooves for it. Since 1961, it has been illegal to touch, treat, or feed them. More than 350 ships have died on the same sand. Fact 30, NASA practices Mars here. The largest uninhabited island on Earth is Canadian, and NASA has used it as a Mars stand-in since 1997.
I've never heard of it.
Devon Island covers about 55,247 square kilometers at 74 degrees north, centered on the Houghton crater, 20 kilometers wide, roughly 23 million years old. Cold, dry, unvegetated, frozen. Not Mars, but pointed at it on every axis. Even now.
I've never heard of this. So Mars, NASA, whether it's NASA, simulates their Mars habitation in parts of Canada. That is weird.
Unvegetated, frozen. Not Mars, but pointed at it on every axis. Even NASA leaves before winter. The base is summer tense. Fact 29. 58 species in one valley. Montana and Utah get the reputation. A 73 square kilometer patch of Alberta badlands has produced 58 distinct dinosaur species and more than 500 museum-grade specimens, now scattered through museums worldwide. That is roughly 4 to 5% of every late Cretaceous dinosaur species known to science.
Let me confess now, okay? I've always never believed that dinosaurs lived.
But what are dinosaurs? Like dead remains of.
Yeah, dinosaurs, like the bigger animals that lived, they said to have lived on Earth in the past, but they are already gone extinct. Yeah, I do not believe that they do exist.
They are said to live.
They are lived.
Yes, but they no longer exist.
They no longer exist because they were wiped out by some meteorite that hit the Earth and everything went extinct. I did not believe it, but it shows that after seeing these videos of this place that they dug them out in Canada, it's true. And I've seen so many of those skeletons in Canadian museums. We did the Royal Ontario Museum and then we saw those skeletons there.
Yes.
Right. Are you feeling headache?
No, it's my place.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I'm surprised, but yeah.
Percent of every late Cretaceous dinosaur species known to science, out of an area smaller than most American cities. Some skeletons are complete enough to preserve stomach contents and skin impressions. Fact 28. Bigger than America, emptier than California. Canada is larger than the United States and has fewer people than California. Total area 9,984,670 square kilometers against 9,833,517. Population about 40 million against 39. There is a catch worth stating. By land area alone, the United States wins. Canada only takes the lead once you count its lakes and rivers, roughly 900,000 square kilometers of them. Canada is bigger than America because of its water. Fact 27. The number on the government's own website is misleading. Canada is said to hold 20% of the world's fresh water. Environment and Climate Change Canada publishes that figure and then qualifies it. Only about 7% of the world's annually renewable water is Canadian. The rest is stock, not flow. Fossil water left behind by melting ice sheets. 60% of what does renew drains north, away from the 85% of Canadians living near the American border. Their actual share is about 2.6%. Fact 26. They sold insulin for $1. Insulin was isolated at the University of Toronto in 1921 by Frederick Banting and Charles Best. The first patient, 14-year-old Leonard Thompson, was treated in 1922. Banting took the Nobel Prize in 1923 at 32. The patent went to the university for $1, deliberately, because the discoverers held that nobody should profit from it. Canadians have since voted it the greatest Canadian invention, ahead of the telephone.
I think it's the greatest invention.
I'm telling you, and $1 in to Canadians is something very, very small as compared to us.
Even in any country, that should be very small.
Yeah, very, very small.
You know what it means, insulin? Insulin, is it a hormone or is what?
Yeah, it's a hormone. It's a hormone. It's a hormone that is produced by the pancreas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hormone.
To
Pancreatic
reduce blood
hormones.
sugar, right?
Yes, when the blood sugar is high, you take it.
You stabilize it.
To stabilize the blood sugar level.
What includes blood circulation?
What?
Is there
Increase
something?
blood sugar level.
Yeah.
When you're taking sweet things like sugar, you drink a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is half the list. Which of these has been hardest to accept so far? And were any of them already familiar? Tell us in the comments.
Tell us,
What we
family.
have covered is surprising. What is coming is harder to believe.
Okay.
Fact 25.
Okay.
Older than almost anything. Earth is roughly 4.56 billion years old. There is a rock in the Northwest Territories dated to 4.03 billion. The Acasta gneiss sits on an island about 300 kilometers north of Yellowknife, found in 1983 by a Geological Survey of Canada geologist and dated by uranium lead analysis of zircon crystals inside it. It survives because the Canadian Shield has escaped recycling for 4 billion years. A contested Quebec formation may be older still. Also, Canadian. Fact 24,
Okay.
minus 110. Canada's lowest recorded wind chill is minus 78.9 degrees Celsius.
What?
In Fahrenheit.
Minus 78 degrees Celsius.
Oh no. At that type of temperature, you're likely to just freeze now.
No, you're not likely to freeze.
You're going to freeze.
You're likely to pass away.
Well, normally when you freeze, you pass away. No. That's
You're not
too
likely.
much.
You must have passed away. Even the trees, I don't know why they're still living.
I'm telling you, these trees keep on surviving, and the animals they survive.
That's almost
They
like
survive the weather without even complaining. To who?
oh my God. Justice for the animals.
Lowest recorded wind chill is minus 78.9 degrees Celsius. In Fahrenheit, minus 110. It was measured at Kugaruk, Nunavut on January 13,
Kugaruk.
1975, and it has stood for over 50 years. Wind chill is not air temperature. It is the rate at which exposed skin loses heat. Kugaruk sits on the Arctic coast with no trees and no terrain between it and the frozen sea. At that value, exposed flesh freezes in under a minute. Fact 23. Canada moved first. Pearl Harbor is the founding event of American entry into the Second World War. The Canadian cabinet decided to declare war on Japan on December 7, 1941, the day of the attack. Congress voted the following day at 12:30. Canada had been at war since 1939, so nothing had to be mobilized. A cabinet decision was enough. It also had 2,000 troops in the Hong Kong garrison, which Japan attacked hours after Pearl Harbor. Fact
That means Canada entered the Second World War before the United States.
Yes, I think so.
That is.
That's something that
I find it hard to believe.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm not sure Americans will believe that either.
22. More water than every river on Earth. The average ocean tide moves about 3 feet. In the Minas Basin of Nova Scotia, high water can stand 53 feet above low. Roughly 160 billion tons move in and out of the Bay of Fundy twice a day, more than the combined flow of the world's rivers in the same period. The bay is a resonator. The incoming tide arrives in phase, with the water already sloshing inside, like pushing a swing at exactly the right moment. Fact 21. A fifth of a country, nobody in it. Nunavut is not sparsely populated. It is functionally empty. Its land area is 1,836,993 square kilometers, about a fifth of Canada, and its 2021 census population was 36,858. Statistics Canada rounds the density on its own page to 0 people per square kilometer. 0% of residents live in anything classed as an urban center, against a national figure of 83.9. All
It's not possible. Even if it's 0.1 person per square kilometer. That is 2.5 times the size of our country with 36,000 people. But we have almost 32 million over here.
Yeah, 32 million.
Against a national figure of 83.9. All 25 communities are reachable only by air or sea. Fact 20. 60% of the world's lakes. Using the standard scientific cutoff, the planet holds roughly 1.4 million lakes. Canada has between 863,000 and 880,000 of them. 60 to 62% of the global supply inside one country. Russia, in second place, has about 201,000. The cause is the Ice Age. Sheets grinding across Precambrian rock, gouging basins that filled when the ice left. 9% of Canada's surface area is fresh water. That one is verified. This one took longer to confirm. Fact 19. A 50-year war fought with liquor. Disputes between NATO allies should be dry footnotes. Canada and Denmark spent 49 years contesting a 1.3-square-kilometer rock in the Nares Strait by taking turns planting flags on it and leaving each other bottles. Canadian soldiers left whiskey. The Danish minister left schnapps and a welcome note. It ended on June 14th, 2022, with the island split along a ridge, which gave Canada a land border with Denmark and a second land neighbor for the first time in its history. Fact 18.
That is what they call the Whiskey War.
Yeah, the Whiskey War.
What a friendly war there, guys.
I think we've not reacted to that Whiskey War.
No. It's almost like a pillow fight, right?
Yeah. You are like pillow fight.
We haven't had a pillow fight in a while.
You're too like... Guys, you have a like pillow fight. That's why it's
I'm not really...
Instead of talk about Whiskey War, he was talk about pillow fight.
I know about pillow fight, not like I like it.
You like it?
I have more information about it. It's not like... I don't like pillow fight.
You do.
I like stick fight.
There's nothing you can tell me.
Oh my God.
Nothing you can tell me.
Yeah, I should not believe that.
No, I think the Whiskey War was like one of the most peaceful wars.
It's the most peaceful.
Yeah.
Where you don't really want your enemy to... You don't want to do anything to your enemy. Just test my whiskey out. Imagine if Russia and Ukraine would come to the border and leave bottles of vodka, for each other.
The largest blast before the bomb. On December 6, 1917, two ships collided at about 1 knot in Halifax Harbor. One was carrying high explosives. The result is widely ranked the largest human-made explosion before Hiroshima. Roughly 2,000 killed, 9,000...
We did a video on this Halifax explosion and it was rocked with copyright claims.
Yeah.
I think we are going to do another video on this and see from a different perspective.
The video was really long, but at the end of the day, the copyright
was disgusting.
Rendered the video down to 7 minutes, and
useless.
People were really like...
The video was really useless.
Yes.
It became really useless.
2,000 killed, 9,000 injured, nearly every structure within half a mile destroyed. The shockwave felt 200 miles away. Boston sent a relief train that night. Nova Scotia has sent Boston a Christmas tree every year since 1971.
Wow.
Somebody's job is to go and find it. Fact 17. A comet built a mining industry. The Sudbury Basin in Ontario exists because something struck the Earth there 1.85 billion years ago. An impact structure second in size only to Vredefort in South Africa. The strike deformed the crust 10 kilometers down and let molten rock pool on the crater floor. As it cooled, metal separated out. Nickel, copper, and platinum have been mined from it for over 140 years. Roughly 15 Apollo astronauts trained there, learning to recognize impact rock by hand. Fact 16. A vertical cliff that is not vertical. Mount Thor on Baffin Island has the greatest purely vertical drop on Earth, and it leans out over you. The west face falls roughly 1,250 meters at an average angle of 105 degrees, 15 degrees past plumb. For scale, the Empire State Building is 381 meters. Stack 3 of them. A climber on that face hangs free of the rock the entire way down. Fact 15. Half a mile of Beaver Dam. A beaver dam is a creek-sized object in most people's heads. There is one in Wood Buffalo National Park running roughly 850 meters, 8 football fields, end to end, impounding a 17-acre lake. Nobody knew it was there. Ecologist Jean Thie found it on Google Earth in 2007 while studying permafrost and posted the image that October. Parks.
Wait, is a beaver dam built by beavers?
Yeah.
Imagine beavers build a dam that big.
How did they do it?
And I'm here studying engineering for how many years? I couldn't be.
You couldn't build me.
I couldn't stop water from a bucket from flowing. Oh my God.
A beaver that have known the walls of the
Canadian beavers
classroom.
are literally doing civil engineering.
The walls of the classroom.
Literally doing civil engineering out in the woods.
Canada estimates it holds back about 92,000 dump trucks of water. Fact 14. America and Canada have an open territorial dispute.
Where?
Canada claims the Northwest Passage as internal waters, under full sovereignty. The United States maintains it is an international strait under Article 37 of the Law of the Sea, open to any vessel without Canadian consent. It flared in 1969 and again in 1985 when American ships transited without asking. In 1988, the two sides agreed that U.S. icebreakers would request permission and Canada would grant it, explicitly without prejudice to either legal position. Neither conceded anything. It is still unsettled. Fact 13. Basketball is a Canadian invention. The
Wow.
NBA is American. The sport is not. James Naismith was born in Almonte, Ontario, in November 1861 and in December 1891, teaching at a YMCA in Springfield, Massachusetts. He nailed 2 peach baskets to a 10-foot railing and wrote 13 rules. The invention happened on American soil, which is why the confusion persists. He never made money from it. He lived to see it become an Olympic sport in 1936.
Wow.
Fact 12. Time zones are not a natural feature of the world. They are a Canadian proposal with a date on it. On February 8, 1879, Sanford Fleming presented Worldwide Standard Time to the Royal Canadian Institute in Toronto. 24 zones, 15 degrees of longitude each. North American Railways adopted it on November 18, 1883, and the 1884 conference in Washington took it global across 27 nations. Before that, there were as many as 144 local times across the continent. Fleming's trigger was missing a train in Ireland over a misprinted timetable. Fact 11. A desert above the 60th parallel. Sand dunes mean heat. There is an active dune field running 100 kilometers along Lake Athabasca in northern Saskatchewan.
What?
Dunes 30 meters high and 1,500 long.
Oh.
Sand dunes 30 meters high?
How is that even possible?
How is that possible?
Seriously? Oh, wait.
My.
No.
Largest active sand surface in Canada and the most northerly major dune formation in the world. It is surrounded by jack pine and cold water. It is glacial, not arid. Meltwater dumped the sand 8,000 years ago, and the wind has kept it moving since. 10 plant species there exist nowhere else on Earth. Fact 10. 24 meters of snow. In the 1971-72 season, Mount Copeland in British Columbia recorded 2,446.5 centimeters of snowfall. That is 963 inches, more than 80 feet, at one location, in one winter, enough
What?
to bury an 8-story building.
No. No.
These are not
way.
story buildings that are getting
Those
buried
are
by snow
story
like.
buildings. 8-story buildings. Like 8th floor.
8th floor.
Do we ever have an 8th floor building here in Cameroon?
Yeah, we do. They are not very popular.
Yes, not at all.
Single-day Canadian record belongs to the same province. 145 centimeters at Tatsa Lake on February 11th, 1999. Pacific
Bro.
moisture hits the coastal ranges, gets forced upward, and unloads. And yet, fact 9, the thermometer ran out of numbers. On February 3rd, 1947, the village of Snag, Yukon, recorded minus 63 degrees Celsius, minus 81.4 Fahrenheit. It is still the lowest confirmed temperature in North American history. The alcohol thermometer's lowest marking was minus 80, so the observers scratched an extra line onto the glass with a set of dividers because their pens had frozen. The inversion was so still that people could hear conversations 4 miles away. Exhaled breath crystallized and fell to the ground with a sound. Fact 8. Closer to Moscow than to Ottawa. Alert, Nunavut is the northernmost permanently inhabited place on Earth. 82 degrees 30 minutes north, 817 kilometers from the North Pole, continuously staffed since 1950. It is roughly 2,500 miles from Moscow and 2,580 from its own capital. The nearest Canadian city is 2,092 kilometers away. It sits so far north that geostationary satellites fall below its horizon, which makes reliable communication a standing problem. 4 months of darkness, 4 months of unbroken daylight. Fact 7. The Strategic Maple Syrup Reserve. Quebec maintains a strategic reserve of maple syrup modeled on a petroleum reserve behind an 8-foot fence. It can hold 100 million pounds. Between 2011 and 2012, thieves removed roughly 9,500 barrels, 6 million pounds, 3,000 tons, worth somewhere between $18 and $30 million. 18 people were arrested, and the Supreme Court of Canada fined the ringleader over $9 million. It was discovered when an inspector climbed a stack of barrels, and it nearly toppled. They were empty. Fact 6. American towns you cannot drive to from America. The 49th parallel is a straight line, and a straight line should not be able to strand pieces of one country inside another. Point Roberts, Washington, 5 square miles, 1,191 residents at the 2020 census, sits on the tip of a Canadian peninsula. Reaching mainland Washington means driving 40 kilometers through British Columbia and crossing the border twice. Minnesota's northwest angle is cut off the same way. During the pandemic, U.S. legislators had to write to Canada's public safety minister because residents were being refused transit to their own doctors. Fact 5. Canada is not the country on top. Not all of it. Middle Island, Ontario, Canada's southernmost point, sits at 41 degrees 40 minutes north. California's northern border runs along the 42nd parallel. Middle Island lies about 150 meters from the maritime boundary with Ohio, south of Chicago, and south of the entire state of Michigan. 27 of the 50 states hold territory north of it. From there to Cape Columbia, Canada's northern tip is 4,640 kilometers. A country whose bottom edge is level with wine country and whose top edge is 800 kilometers from the pole. Fact 4. Hotter than Las Vegas has
Canada has backing facts. I'm just getting blown up with the facts like take.
I think I knew most of the facts about Canada until I realized that I've not heard anything
You have
yet.
absolutely no idea. I told you we have heard facts, but we're not even 1% into it.
Okay.
Fact 4. Hotter than Las Vegas has ever been. On June 29th, 2021, Lytton, British Columbia, reached 49.6 degrees Celsius, 121.3 Fahrenheit. The all-time record for Las Vegas is about 47.2. Lytton sits 1,000 miles further north at 50 degrees latitude. It broke the Canadian national record 3 days running and beat the previous record set in 1937 by 4.6 degrees. The next day, a wind-driven wildfire destroyed roughly 90% of the village. A resident described apples cooking on the branch, brown on the sunward side, still green inside. Fact 3. Canada could not change its own constitution until 1982. Not 1867, not 1931, 1982. The founding document was the British North America Act, an act of the British Parliament, so only Westminster could amend it. The Statute of Westminster granted Canada full legislative independence in 1931, and Canada asked Britain to keep the amending power because its own federal and provincial governments could not agree on a formula. That deadlock ran 51 years. The Canada Act passed in London on March 29, 1982. Australia had solved the same problem in 1901. Fact 2. Canada drew up a plan to invade the United States. Defense Scheme Number 1 was written on April 12, 1921, by Lieutenant Colonel James Sutherland Brown, Canada's Director of Military Operations and Intelligence. 5 columns: Seattle, Spokane, and Portland in the west, Fargo and Great Falls on the plains, Detroit and Niagara from Ontario, Albany from Quebec, Maine from New Brunswick. Canada had 8 million people at the time. The United States had 106 million. The reasoning was that Canada had no strategic depth, and the plan's own text says depth can only be gained by offensive action. Brown scouted it personally, in plain clothes, driving Model Ts through the northern states and buying road maps at gas stations. It was cancelled in 1928, and most of the paperwork destroyed. Fact 1. There is a place in Canada.
Canada. Canada. What? What? This one will come out to be the craziest. I think it takes the sport. This should be number one. Canada plan to invade the United States? Like, seriously? That's crazy, bro. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. I've never heard the Canada plan to start any war. You know why I'm laughing? I'm laughing because this general, clearly in his head, he was like, America has done a lot.
Yeah,
we need to give them back something.
Them back what they deserve.
Oh my God. Holy
smoke.
There
was a planned drone somewhere.
To hit America hard. Oh my God. Oh my God. I tell you.
It means that America started doing fight. It means that it's not just now that they have started.
America has been fighting
with Canada.
They have been fighting. You know, 1812 they attacked Canada.
It means that it's been long that
it's been a serious
manipulating Canada.
Let's hear fact number
1. There is a place in Canada where gravity is weaker, not metaphorically, measurably. Over Hudson Bay, gravity runs about 0.004% below the planetary average, a mapped negative anomaly noticed in the 1960s and confirmed by the GRACE satellites in 2002. 2 causes, and the satellite data confirmed both. The Laurentide ice sheet, more than 3 kilometers thick, pressed the crust down and squeezed mantle material sideways. The land is still rebounding at about 12 millimeters a year, and that accounts for a quarter to a half of the effect. The rest is mantle convection dragging the plate down from below. The ice melted 10,000 years ago. The dent it left is still there, and you can weigh it. Every fact in this video is documented and sourced. The one that took longest to accept was fact 5. That Canada's southernmost point sits at 41 degrees 40 minutes north, below the northern edge of California and below the entire state of Michigan. The map most people carry in their heads is wrong, and has been for a long time. Which of these do you still find hard to accept? Tell us in the comments. Subscribe if you want more verified geography that refuses to behave the way it should.
The second one, of course.
The second one is the craziest, bro. And then the other one, the sand dunes in northern Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then the reserved maple syrup in Quebec.
The maple syrup reserve in Quebec. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, family.
It's really a long video.
And please do consider supporting us in our Buy Me a Coffee page.
It is a support for us to travel to Canada and visit your country. It is not money for us to take and enjoy life with. Thank you so much.
Thank you, family.
We love you. Respect.